Emma's day had started like any other, with the soft hum of computers and the occasional murmur of colleagues filling the office, but a sudden call from her boss changed everything. Alexander Reed, her manager, tall, composed, and always seeming to carry a quiet authority, appeared at her cubicle with a tone that made her heart skip. "Emma, could you come into the conference room for a moment?" he asked, his voice calm but carrying a subtle weight that made her stomach tighten. She felt a flicker of curiosity mixed with nervousness as she nodded, leaving her desk and following him down the bright, bustling corridor. The office chatter seemed to fade behind her with each step, leaving her alone with a rising sense of anticipation she couldn't quite name. When Alexander opened the door to the conference room, sunlight poured in, creating soft shadows on the walls and giving the usually formal space a warmer, almost inviting feel. Her mind raced with questions. Was this about her latest project, a performance review, or something entirely unexpected? Alexander gestured toward a chair with a small, reassuring smile, and as she sat down, she noticed the unusual softness in his expression. There was a pause, a quiet tension in the room that felt heavier than it should for a routine meeting. Emma realized in that moment that something important was about to happen, something that could change the rhythm of her day, and perhaps even her feelings about the office she had come to know so well. The air felt charged with a subtle excitement, and even though she didn't yet know what would happen, a tiny spark of curiosity and anticipation ignited inside her, making her pulse quicken as she prepared for the conversation that was about to unfold. As Emma settled into the chair, the sunlight filtering through the conference room windows seemed to soften the usually formal space, making it feel almost intimate, and she noticed a change in Alexander's demeanor. He wasn't the usual stern, professional boss she saw in meetings. There was warmth in his eyes, a gentleness that caught her completely off guard. He spoke slowly, carefully, as if choosing each word with thought, and told her he wanted to talk about more than work, about her as a person, not just an employee. Emma's heart pounded in her chest. She had admired him quietly from afar, always respecting his authority, but now she sensed a depth of interest she hadn't expected, a curiosity about her feelings and well-being. Alexander praised her dedication, the way she handled challenges, and the care she put into every task, and while she had heard compliments before, this felt different. It was personal, sincere, and it touched a part of her that had longed to be seen. Then he asked a question that made her pause, a simple yet profound question: how she was feeling, beyond work, and whether she was truly happy here. Emma felt an unexpected vulnerability rising within her. No one had ever asked her that before, no one had truly cared enough to notice the small struggles, the quiet moments of doubt, the effort she poured into her work and her life. She realized that this conversation wasn't just about recognition, it was about connection, about being acknowledged as a person, and a warmth spread through her chest, mingling with nervous excitement. She found herself answering honestly, sharing the little insecurities she normally kept hidden, and Alexander listened intently, nodding, his expression calm and understanding. For the first time, Emma felt a bridge forming between them, a soft link that went beyond professional boundaries, something tender, emotional, and quietly thrilling. The air in the room seemed charged with a new energy, a sense of intimacy that was respectful yet deeply affecting, leaving Emma with a fluttering heart and a mind that raced with possibilities. And as the conversation continued, she couldn't help but feel that this moment, this recognition of her inner world, was changing her day, her perspective, and perhaps even her feelings. Toward someone she had long admired from afar, the conversation deepened, and Emma felt a flutter in her chest she hadn't anticipated, a mixture of nervousness and warmth as Alexander leaned forward slightly, his gaze steady and inviting, making her feel truly seen for the first time. The professional walls that usually separated them seemed to fade, replaced by an unexpected closeness that carried a quiet, gentle tension. She admitted feelings she rarely shared, the subtle loneliness and the small anxieties that accompanied her daily life, and to her surprise, Alexander didn't just listen, he responded with understanding and care, acknowledging her dedication and validating her emotions in a way that made her feel both safe and cherished. Emma's pulse quickened as he spoke softly, praising her not just for her work, but for the person she was, the integrity she carried, and the kindness she brought to others, and with every word, the room seemed to shrink, as if the outside world had disappeared, leaving only the two of them in a space charged with quiet emotion. A gentle smile crossed his face as he reassured her that she was not alone, that her efforts and her heart mattered more than she realized, and in that moment, Emma felt a connection she had never expected with a colleague, a bond that was tender, emotional, and deeply moving. Thoughts and feelings she had buried for so long surfaced effortlessly, and she found herself sharing little hopes and quiet dreams she usually kept hidden, while he responded with patience and attentiveness that made her chest swell with a strange, exhilarating hope. Every glance, every pause, every careful word seemed to create a rhythm between them, a subtle dance of understanding and mutual respect, leaving Emma both breathless and comforted, a realization dawning on her that this meeting was not just a professional encounter but the beginning of something profoundly personal and emotionally significant. As she sat there, heart racing and eyes occasionally meeting his, she understood that today had shifted something inside her. The ordinary office had become a place where emotions could surface safely, where longing could be acknowledged, and where the spark of attraction and deep admiration blended with genuine care, creating a moment that felt rare, intimate, and transformative, leaving her eager and quietly hopeful about what might come next. As the conversation drew to a close, Emma felt a sense of lightness and calm she hadn't known all morning, a quiet exhilaration that made her chest feel warm and her mind buzz with possibilities, as if the office itself had transformed around her. Alexander stood, yet there was no rush, no abrupt ending, only a lingering connection in the soft way his eyes met hers and the subtle encouragement in his words, telling her she was remarkable, valued, and seen not just for her work, but for who she truly was, and for Emma, hearing that from someone she admired so deeply stirred an unexpected mix of gratitude, hope, and gentle excitement. She walked back to her desk slowly, every step filled with a new awareness of herself and her surroundings, noticing the sunlight glinting off surfaces, the quiet hum of coworkers, the rhythm of the office, all of it seeming somehow brighter, sharper, more alive than before, as if her day had been infused with new meaning. Thoughts of the conversation replayed in her mind, Alexander's genuine care, his attentiveness, the subtle but undeniable warmth he had shared, making her realize that this encounter had shifted something fundamental in her perspective, not just professionally but emotionally, leaving her heart fluttering in a way that was thrilling yet comforting, a mixture of anticipation and contentment. She felt a delicate, growing connection, a quiet hope that perhaps this moment was only the beginning, that the bond they had glimpsed today could continue to grow with trust, patience, and understanding, and though nothing explicit had changed, everything within her had shifted. She carried with her a newfound courage, a soft excitement for the days to come, and a certainty that today, a simple conversation had opened doors to possibilities she had only ever dared to imagine. Sitting at her desk, she smiled softly, realizing that the ordinary routine of the office had been transformed into something extraordinary, a gentle reminder that meaningful connections could appear unexpectedly, that heartfelt words and sincere attention could change the trajectory of a day, and perhaps even a life, leaving her quietly, powerfully aware that this day, like no other, had imprinted on her heart, a tender, hopeful memory she would carry forward, marking the start of something new, meaningful, and quietly romantic that promised more moments of understanding, warmth, and emotional closeness in the days ahead.